would say every scene had some sort of, you know, relation to a story or something that happened in real life, you know. Twist it a little bit, but the essence of what happens in most of these scenes happened to one of us. So, you know, it was almost all pretty accurate.
Well, this was actually my first full feature film. Salgado has been my best friend since we've been about 15, 16 years old. We did a short film in 2006. This was actually my first full feature film. It was challenging at times, but like they said, it really was a home project. It hit home. You know, a lot of those names that you saw there at the end of the film, you know, we knew those kids, we knew their parents. We really wanted to do right by them. You know what I'm saying? It's a very sensitive situation to obviously those families. So it was important for the message to be sent out and for everybody to really, you know, understand what was going on. You know?
Honestly, it was a headache and a half. We were, you know, me and Jaydee, like Andy said, we had done a short film called Jamaican Motel in 2006. We tried to develop that into a feature. You know, most of our investors at that point were coming from the Miami real estate market, and once the market crashed, we were, sorry, excuse my French, shit out of luck. You know, we went back to the drawing board. This is a film that we always wanted to tell. It's a story that we're very passionate about. You know, we wrote out the script, I would say, like in 2 weeks, and you know, after that, it just started picking up ground. I wrote it with Andres and Mikey in mind. Mikey brought JR, and you know, once we had the team, we were very confident about their chemistry, and it came together pretty well.
I mean, to touch on like your question, and like what Andy had said earlier, like to that woman that asked the question, like she had a script and what avenue she should go through to get it made, and like Andy said, just do it, like just get on it and do it, and you know, that was the attitude of me and Aaron. Once our first project kind of, you know, fell to the floor, and it was like, you know, what are we going to do now? You know, let's make a movie for nothing. Let's make it so we know our friends who are talented actors, maybe not the biggest names, but talented people that we believe in, can really take the script to the next level. And you know, we went hard and found an investor that believed in us. And you know, now that you guys have seen the film, I'll tell you, this film was shot for $200,000. You know, it's like, we really busted our physical and our mentals. You know, all the producers, directors, PAs, cast, everybody really put everything they had into it, and we're lucky it's a good, you know, we feel it's a good film, so.
It's a great film.
Thank you. You know, it was really, Dominique was somebody that I was kind of friends with. We knew the same friends, and like I said, we didn't have much money. As a matter of fact, when Dom got on the project, we had no money. Zero. I literally sent to the script, and I was like, Dom, I don't know if we have money, but I think this is a good script. I think you'll relate to it. We're trying to get the money. We'll see, you know, and she loved the script, she committed, she did it. We locked up some funding, and you know, with Dominique, we were like, you know, yeah, she's been around acting in her life. She's probably good, you know, and she was. And then, you know, really, we never set out to try to get Andy's support. It was really, we literally had 3 days left on the shooting schedule, and we had just found out that Andy was going to come by and take a visit. And, you know, we had gotten shut down like 2 nights before that, so we were like, oh no, God, you know, this guy's going to come visit us. And we were like, momentum was already like, you know, not on our side, you know, and he came and spent the day with us, had lunch with us, watched the shoot, we took him to the trailer. You know, he saw the dailies, and you know, he really liked what he saw. So he told us, when you finish, come to LA, and I want to take a look at your rough cut. And then, you know, he responded to the rough cut as so, and he offered his assistance, so we took it. You know, so it wasn't. I think it was a mutual type of thing where, you know, we appreciated the help, he offered it, and we didn't bat an eye, we took it. You know?
It was a nerve-wracking day though, because you know, me as a first-time filmmaker, we had been shut down like 3 times, I believe, that week. And we went to shoot that scene, which was in Titanic, when JR's character, Mikey, talks to Dominique's character, Veronica. And from one second to another, I hear Andy Garcia's coming to the set. And, you know, first time filmmaker, I'm sitting behind the booth watching this scene progress. Next thing I know, Andy Garcia's right behind me, and, you know, talk about nerves. You know, when you have someone like Andy Garcia who's working with the best directors, all of a sudden he's right behind you, like looking over your shoulder, making sure everything's going right, you know?
I actually remember that day very well. There's a still that I still look at of Aaron staring into like the monitor, and then Andy right over him behind his like his shoulder, staring into the monitor too. It's funny.
We felt it was a responsibility to tell a story from the Miami perspective. There's a lot of movies that get done in Miami that use the cliches and we feel it exploits our city. We felt we needed to make an authentic representation of what growing up in Miami really is. And, you know, we're all pretty much from Miami. I kidnapped JR in Miami for like a month, so Miami rubbed off on him pretty well. And, you know, like you said, we wanted to make sure it was as authentic as possible, as people from Miami see it and reminisce, and we're like, wow, that's really how it is. That's how I grew up.
Obviously, like if you're a Latin American kid, and not even that, you know, we hope that would reach out to other, you know, other social lifestyles where basically, you know, kids could be doing this kind of stuff, but it's a message that's being sent out. You know, you got to understand that we lived like if we were invisible. You know, we made bad decisions. It was kind of reckless. But at the same time, these are based on true events. You know, I wasn't a real character. He's not a real character. He wasn't a real character. But these are all true events, true scenes, things that happened to me and Aaron growing up. You know, we've all lived through this, and you know, we just basically hope, you know, people can understand. You know.
We're hip-hop junkies. We grew up on that music. Yeah, 90s hip-hop to today, everything, you know. I think the music was a big part to us because it captured that, our generation, you know. Obviously the movie's based in present day, but we made it seem like the characters were so cool that they knew about the old school hip-hop as well.
Right.
Yes. We feel it's our responsibility, so we will continue doing it.
And there's so many of them that, like Aaron had said, like anybody that shoots a movie in Miami, it's bad boys too, and the only Latino character is Johnny Tapia, the drug dealer. So like, you know, in this film,
and Haitians don't have blonde dreads and speak with Jamaican accents, by the way.
like in this film, you see that, you know, one of the Latino characters is a prominent politician. You see another one of the Latino characters is a star baseball player. Like, you know, I don't know. A lot of films stereotype Latinos or Hispanic Americans as just a drug dealer, the bad guy, the maid, or all that, and that's not what we know. You know, we know a city, and it's not just Miami. It's in Texas. It's in New York. It's in California. A lot of very prominent people are Hispanic and Latino. And, you know, that's just reality.
We used the red camera, the red one. We set out to shoot for 25 days. We got shut down a couple days, so we ended up with a 28-day shoot. It means a lot to us for you to feel that way because we made it for people like you, for people to reminisce and not forget our friends that have fallen because of, you know, our wrongdoings or the bad decisions. And, you know, I know that they're up there very proud of us right now. I'm sure your friends as well. It's a work in progress.
There are no music clearances as we speak, actually. So you get to see the best version of this movie ever.
But the original version of it.
The original. Hopefully whoever picks up this movie believes that the music has been a part of it as we do, you know. Like, for example, this girl that I had mentioned right here, that, you know, it's all New York music. Well, we like that. We mixed Miami and New York, and we know that. And, like, you know, you did. But, like, you know, Aaron went to school here in New York, went to film school here in New York, so that's another New York tie. Like, New York is definitely a city that has influenced this film. Like, the best compliment I think I ever got was that this film was like a Mean Streets. It was like a Miami version of Mean Streets. I mean, Mean Streets is my favorite film. And it's, you know, it's very similar. Young guys going through that coming of age.
You know, the right guy in Mean Streets isn't that bad either.
Yeah.
Okay, next, you know, just try to keep working, you know. I mean, hopefully we can take this movie as far as it can go, you know. And like she said, you know, high schoolers around the country can see it, and I think everyone is really gonna be able to like take something away from it, just the way she did, because everyone growing up has, you know, then you need to make a decision. You're gonna be this kind of person, you're gonna be that kind of person, and you might, you know, it might not make you who you are, but it's definitely gonna impact your character. I really just want this movie to be seen across the United States and for it to make a difference with people, you know. And of course, hopefully work again, but
I just worked on another film. I had the pleasure to work with Andy on another production called Open Road. It's a team out of Brazil, producers and director. I support Camila Bell in the film. And next, there's a few other projects that I'm working with that same production team. 2 films underway with financing. One starts shooting September 19th, and the other one is being written as we speak. You know, nice size budget. And yeah, it's just working hard. You're only as good as your next project, and I believe the consistency and persistency in your dedication will, you know, define your character, who you are, and the roles that you accept and portray. So I thank you all for being here. And adding on to what you said, that you know, Mikey could have been any one of us. I probably shouldn't be here right now, but I'm grateful enough to have told that story. Aaron, you know, since elementary school, he's known me since I was 8 years old, and he would rough me up in the backyard and all of this. It is true, trust me. I have the war marks to prove it. But yeah, and Andy too. I've known these guys, and Jaydee and JR tagged on, and we kind of showed him where we came from, him being from Texas and Mexican descent. It's not a Latino story. You know, I really don't like when people say that they stamp some sort of a stereotype. And this story is happening tonight here. It'll happen in Canada, in New York, and so it could be, you know, anywhere. It'll happen to one of your kids, your grandkids, a friend of your kids, and so we really want to.
There's a nightclub in Miami, probably in every city right now, full of kids that are using fake IDs and aren't really legally responsible. And I think this film should impact them, you know, open up their eyes to what's really important in life.
So any distributors out there? Talk to me after.
To follow up, basically I currently reside right now in Miami, Florida. This, like I said earlier, this was my first full feature film. It was challenging. It was challenging at times. I discovered a bunch of things about myself that, you know, I didn't know I had in me. This man right next to me, he never doubted me for 1 second. He didn't even care whether I was up for it or not. He just told me what was going on, and he's really outdone himself. I'm very proud of this man right next to me. He basically was my guide, and you know, obviously, you know, things can come from this. You know, this is obviously a message that in Miami was very anticipated. We're bringing it here to New York. You know, we want the message to go out because, like, you know, what Jaydee just said, you know, this is going on in pretty much a lot of towns. It's just not Miami. You know, it's just not New York. It's all over the place.
We're developing Magic City into a TV series right now, so we're very excited about that. I just finished inking on my next feature script, so we're hoping to get into development of that and hopefully get into pre-production soon.
Me and Aaron, together with a couple of new partners, we just launched a new production company called Specialized Media. We're reloading our arsenal. We're going to do a lot. We're going to do television, scripted, non-scripted, small films, big films, digital, like, you know, really just take more like the Hispanic American style that you saw in this film, which is all English, but, you know, you see these characters and you know they're from Hispanic descent. You hear that accent, and I think there's a big future in that type of entertainment because it's not accessible right now, or the content creators are not making it in that fashion. I feel a lot of networks are, you know, one sentence English, one sentence Spanish, kind of get it in there, but that doesn't sound natural, you know, so. We have a new company, we have great partners, creative, strategic, and financial, and we're really excited about the future. We're going to have a lot of great things coming up.
Well, gentlemen, I want to thank you for bringing the film to New York, and I want to thank all of you for being here.